All right, we're discussing the Law Commission's report on simultaneous elections, and I'm going straight across to Fawad Aleem. Fawad Aleem, look at the number of parties supporting the idea. BJP, of course, Biju Janata Dal, YSR Party, Nishad Party, Borderland People's Front, TDP, TRS, SP, AIADMK, the Shiromani Akali Dal, the Shiv Sena as well. Don't you think that because there are so many political parties who are supporting the idea, more thought should be given and somewhere a consensus has to be built?
Well, it's very clear that the system of synchronous elections that India has entered into is because the constitution actually understood the possibilities of the reality that could exist in our democratic polity and democratic structure. And if one has to revisit the constitutional understanding of these opportunities, then one has to actually, if we start off a synchronous election from 2019, what happens if the couple of state assemblies again are hung? Will you have elections there or not? So again, you will start the same process that we started at the point of independence, and again in a couple of what you call decades, we will again be a dysynchronous electoral system. So, you know, we can revisit this question a number of times. But I think so the founding fathers of the nation had the astute, what you call, clarity of the possibilities that our democratic process should give to the people of India. Because one has to understand that ultimately amongst our constitutional pillars, nobody elects a judge in the judiciary, nobody elects an administrative officer, everybody elects his MLA and his MP.
My question to you now, as
is actually compromised,
you're a member of the ruling
our
party.
constitution is being compromised.
Does the BJP have the political might and the urge to bring about consensus and bring about the necessary electoral reforms, the constitutional amendments in Parliament to make sure that in future we move closer to the idea of simultaneous elections? There is a lot of speculation with the upcoming assembly elections being deferred, held with the Lok Sabha election. The current election commissioner has said nothing doing, ye nahi ho sakta. Narendra Taneja, can the BJP make it happen to some extent? Try and bring those constitutional amendments?
No, you see that there's not a question of political might. You see, here whatever we have to do, we have to do, taking along all the political parties and the public opinion as a whole. We're a democratic party, and if we have to bring about this significant amendment.
Will it be tried in this session, in this tenure of the Narendra Modi government?
No, the question is that you see, first we have to see what is the response like from other players in Parliament, both houses of Parliament. We don't have majority in the upper house, as you know it very well. And at the same time, you see, when you have to do such a, significant change in the constitution, it is important that other political parties, one way or another, are on board. It is important because here we're talking of a democratic reform. And something that is in the interest of all political parties. We don't believe in doing something, where we are not able to carry other people along, especially when it comes to, an issue as important as we are discussing in your debate. Now, the second important point is that, we are also informally discussing this with various political parties. That we would like to have even more formal discussion on the issue. But the good thing is debate is happening, like you are debating in your show, people are debating it, and let's see what comes out of it.
Yeah. Okay, so informal conversations are going on. Rohan Gupta, we've got Narendra Taneja saying that we've already reached out to the opposition. Tomorrow, if the BJP tries to bring bills to amend the constitution to this effect, move closer to the idea of simultaneous elections, will the Congress be open to looking at the idea, or you will be close to it from the word go?
See, we have to see this issue from a larger perspective. As one of the panelists was saying, that if in one state there is re-election, or maybe the government loses the majority, then what? There are a lot of questions attached to this idea of one nation, one election. You need to go in detail perspective, because once you are holding all the elections together, the basic purpose of democracy gets lost. Because then there is no meaning of having 3 elections. You can go with 1 election only. Each election has a different issue. Each time people will have chance again to show their mood to the politicians. Each election will have different, game altogether. At the end of the day, as I agree with ex-election commission's statement that what is good for people, that should be at the center and not what is good for political parties. And if at the end of the day there is a consensus, yes, that this is the idea which is good for people, we all should join it. But as of now, looking at the practical issues, looking at the issues required with changes of making changes to your constitution or practically implement, I don't think so that it is possible as of now.
Okay, my last and final question to Narendra Taneja. Narendra Taneja, I know you were raising your finger. One quick question, and you can make your point as well. Considering that there is a clause of vote of no confidence, considering that there is a possibility of a hung parliament, a defeat on the floor of the House, a fall of the government, do you think that this is practically possible at all within the tenure of the Narendra Modi government?
No, you see, the point is that when you look at, for instance, the history of elections from 1950 till 1667, we used to have the simultaneous elections. You know, I agree with, my colleague from the Congress party. There are some issues which need to be addressed, but probably need to be debated more. I fully agree with him. And that's what the beauty of democracy. And there are some very serious questions too. I agree with that also. But I'm pretty confident with the public on board, the political parties on board, with experts also assisting, constitutional experts, that we can find a way forward. The way forward is only the, the basic question is on, well, should we have elections in some part of the country every third month, or should we basically streamline in such a way that we can reduce the number of elections so that parties in the government can focus on governance? That is the basic question. I think we all need to put our head together and find a solution by, having deliberation, democratic discussions, both in parliament and outside parliament.
All right. At the end of the day, it needs political consensus. It needs political will of all political players. That's the way forward for one nation, one poll. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us.